Hello, Sean.
Sure.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday evenings again. We've had a little bit of a break, and I'm coming back, still here, still strong, but changing the technical bit slightly, simply because I know that we've got a brilliant set of products, but we now need to start to encourage building the business. And I know that's been my shortfall. I can tell you pretty much anything you need to know about the products, but that's not the thing because people who want to join us get scared away. And I know I've scared away plenty of people because they all go, "Oh, but I don't know as much as you. I could never know as much as you, and I don't want them to know as much as me." It's just, I know what I know simply because that's the field I work in and it's of interest to me. So I dive a little bit deeper. But I want to get people in so that they can see that this is a business that will basically get them financially stable, hopefully financially free, if they follow the system. And it is a very, very simple, basic system. So the training that I'm going to be doing, it's called the 45-second presentation. There is a book by a gentleman by the name of Don Filer, who has been in network marketing for many years, and I'll explain that as we go along. And he was getting burnt out in network marketing because he was spending hours and hours and hours and sitting in front of people presenting the plan. And it got to the stage where this was a tedious job and he was completely burnt out. And he decided, no, there's got to be a better way. And he came up with this simple system and he called it the 45-second presentation. And it is a system that anybody can do. And it's become even easier now because the booklet that look, you can purchase the full booklet. It's available on Amazon. It's available directly from Don Filer. But what we're focusing on in this particular training is the first 4 chapters of that book. Those first 4 chapters are free because I will send you the link. It is freely available on the web. And that is exactly what I've done just recently. I've used that exact system to get a new downline in. Now, I am putting her in under one of my other downlines simply because that downline first spoke to her about the business and said, go, sent it to me and said, go and speak to him because he'll tell you all about it. Because the downline that I'm mentioning is more interested in the products than in actually doing the business, which is perfectly fine. And that's the beauty of this whole system, is that what I'm going to be training on now is just one of the ways of doing this business. So you can do a presentation in front of a room full of people. You can make phone calls. You can do a Zoom presentation exactly like this to however many people. These free Zooms, you can accommodate up to 100 people on these. And I'm looking at other systems as well that might even work even better for longer. But you can do all of those. But the system that I'm going to go through now and show you, Don Filer says you don't need to do anything. It literally takes you 45 seconds to speak to somebody. You are not speaking to a random stranger. You're speaking to a friend. That is how simple it is. So you make a friend and you get them to introduce you to their friends. You're not talking to strangers. You're not selling, whatever selling means to you. When people talk to me about sales, my immediate thought is I've got to go and find somebody and convince them that they need to buy something that they probably don't want or need. And they're just going to, out of pure sympathy for me, throw money at me and take my product and then not use it. And I really, really, really don't like doing that. And I don't want to do that because that to me is a waste of time. It's a waste of money. And it gives the product and the system a very, very bad reputation. So please don't do that. We are not salespeople. I'm not a salesman. However, I do like to help people. So before I get too carried away in my little soapbox, let me share my screen and get into my presentation. I'm going to just hide a few things over here. And just going to hide all of this as well. All right, so what I'm talking about over here is the 45-second presentation that will change your life and probably the life of the people that you're talking to. And this was developed by a gentleman by the name of Don Failer, who is from the States, but he travels the world. And it's an education, and it's been quite an eye-opener for me as I've gone through it a couple of times, especially when I've had to put this whole system to, or the whole training together. What do you understand as network marketing? So I'm going to get into this and we will see exactly what network marketing is. Now, just about everyone has been financially challenged by what many are now calling the Great Recession. And we've had the Great Recession numerous times. Look around you. There are businesses that are closing up. We're not talking about the little guy that just started last week. We're talking about big businesses that have been going strong for decades. You look at the news these days. There's been about 4 or 5 large companies that have closed down, filed for bankruptcy this year, that have been thriving businesses for probably 20 more years. Big businesses overseas, Amazon, Apple, all these guys are retrenching people at a rapid rate. If you've been watching the news recently, there's been a hurricane that's just hit the States, and it has wiped out large areas of homes and businesses. Those people are going to be out of jobs now. What do they do? Well, we've got an option. And there's good news for those considering network marketing today. And yes, network marketing does have a bit of a bad reputation, unfortunately, as being one of those things, one of those pyramid schemes. It is so far away from a pyramid scheme as to be, you can't even put it on the same level. And I'll explain why as I go along. Now, according to the Direct Selling Association, when the US economy was growing at an annual rate of just 4%, the direct sales industry was booming along at 5.9%, nearly 48% better than the entire economy. So what's so bad about this thing? You'll find similar patterns of growth throughout the world. If you're looking for more income, financial freedom, and the ability to take real control of your life, that's a very encouraging and important statistic, because this is something that anybody can do. If they can multiply 2 by 2, they can do the business. If they can read, not any big journals, they can read the simple wording that I'm going to be putting out just now, they can do this business. To move forward, you need to learn more about the industry. And for real success, you need to know how to explain it to others. It's one thing knowing something yourself. It's another thing explaining it to somebody else so that they understand it. I'm not a mathematician, simply because at school, I didn't have somebody who could explain mathematics to me in a way that I could understand it. Accounting was a different story because we had a teacher who had a brilliant way of explaining things. In fact, to this day, I still remember some of the things that he taught me in Standard 4, Grade 6, about history and geography, because he had a way of explaining things. And that is what I want to do with this, is to help you to learn and to explain it in a way that anybody can understand it. Zig Ziglar used to say that if you can explain it, if you can put it across in a way that a 6-year-old can understand it, that's what you need to be doing. And that's what we need to do to explain network marketing. So network marketing is one of the fastest growing, yet most misunderstood methods of moving products in use today. By the year 2012, and this, just to put it into perspective, this is an old book. So these stats have probably changed significantly over the last little while, because 2012, scarily enough, was 12 years ago. So a lot of things have changed over that time. So by the year 2012, nearly $167 billion worth of products and services were moving annually through network marketing and direct sales company. Is this a Mickey Mouse program? I don't think so. Unless you're thinking of Mickey Mouse in the form of Disney World and their turnover. As we progress through the 21st century, watch out. The purpose of this training, taken from the book, is to convey to you through illustrations and examples just what network marketing is, and more importantly, what it is not. We will also show you how you can effectively, I repeat, effectively explain network marketing to others. And Don talks about the napkin presentations, because you're sitting down in a coffee shop, chatting to a friend, and you can explain this business on a paper napkin. You don't need a computer, a smartphone, an iPad. You simply need a pen, Exhibit A, and a piece of paper, Exhibit B. And in a coffee shop, your nearest piece of paper is the paper towel or napkin in front of you. Use it. So let me emphasize that. When you go through this training, you will learn the essentials of network marketing for yourself and how to explain it to others. Be certain to include the book in the initial kit of information about your program. We're not talking, this is a generic training, so this can be done in any network marketing business. And this is exactly why he developed it. It was one of the early days generic, and there's a lot of generic trainers coming out these days, meaning that what they're training on can be used in any network marketing company. Ours just happens to be near life, but it can be used in any network marketing business. So the napkin presentations. Don Failer developed the napkin presentations upon which this book is based over the years since about 1973. That's going back a few years, almost as long as what I've been around. I know a lot of others on this training will have been around maybe a bit longer than that, but this is timeless training, because what he talks about then and what is happening now is still exactly the same thing. Yes, technology has come in. Yes, there's a whole lot of extra things that we're actually now spoiled for choice, because we've got so many tools, and I think that's part of the problem. We don't know how to use 3/4 of those tools. And this is a very, very simple one. Think of this tool as a hammer. Use a hammer for all sorts of different things. So Don has been involved in network marketing to one degree or another since 1969. Again, very close to when I first came about. This training will cover the 10 napkin presentations he has developed so far. But before we jump into the napkin presentations, let's start with some fundamentals you and members of your organization need to know. Marketing simply means moving a product or service from the manufacturer or provider to the consumer. So you have somebody who manufactures the products, you have the person at the other end who purchases the products, and we're the guy that's bringing the two people together. We're the matchmakers. Multi-level refers to the system of compensation provided to those persons who are causing the product or service to move or the service to be provided. Remember, you can't get paid unless, well, there's only two ways of getting paid. You're either literally sitting on the street corner with your foot in the gutter, with your hands held out and your head down, begging for money, and somebody's going to generously give you some money if you're lucky, if they don't hit you on the back of the head. Or you can provide value to somebody in the form of a service, information, or a product, and they will pay you for that. You don't go down to the local supermarket and walk in and say, "I'd like a loaf of bread, please." They will say, "Great, it's going to cost you X amount." Because if you walked in and just took it and walked out, that bread could be free for a while because you'll be behind bars. You'll be jailed for shoplifting. So in order to get the bread, which was manufactured by a baker, you've got to provide them with some financial compensation in the form of money. That is how they make a living. I make a living from fixing people after they've had an accident or they've had surgery. In this business, we make a living by introducing people to a world-class product to ease their pain and suffering, give them more energy, keep their homes clean, and keep them looking younger. And to do that, they are paying us for that value. That's all that it is. Multi means more than one. Level refers to what may be better termed as generation. So parents, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, keep it going. It could also be called multi-generation marketing, because remember, this business can be willed and passed over to your children. Hansi Cronje is a brilliant example of that. However, we shall stay with network marketing, as that is the most commonly used terminology. It is so common, in fact, that many illegal pyramids and chain distribution schemes or chain letters, remember chain letters, try to pass themselves off as being a network program. They aren't. This creates such a stigma, although unjustified, that many of the newer network marketing companies are using other names for their type of marketing. Some of the names you will hear are uni-level marketing and co-op mass marketing. Now, there are 4 types of commerce. We will now get into the basics you need to understand for your success and for the success of those you bring in to your network. Learn this information so that you can easily teach it to others. This recording will be available, and I will send you the link if you want it for the book that this is coming from, so that you can see it and read it on a daily basis. There are really only 5 basic methods of moving products or services. First one is retailing. I'm sure everyone is familiar with retailing. The pharmacist, the supermarket, the department store, etc. You go into a store and you buy something. The next thing is direct sales. This would usually, but not always, include things like insurance, cookware, encyclopedias. This is dating the book a little bit because now we've got Google. We don't need encyclopedias. And the Avon lady and party plans, etc. Remember Tupperware, which has just filed for bankruptcy, just by the way. These are some examples of direct sales efforts. One person attempting to sell something to one other person. The next one is network marketing. And this is the one we shall be discussing in this training. It should not be confused with the other 2, especially with the direct sales method with which network marketing commonly is confused. Direct marketing, mail order, email marketing, telemarketing, and infomercials are in this category. So, direct marketing involves things like mail order, telemarketing. Now, mail order, obviously, we don't really have a post office left in this country anymore, but more like email marketing. Does your email box get flooded with spam on a daily basis? I know mine does. I've got a whole mess of emails that I actually haven't read recently because there's just so much stuff that keeps coming through. And that's all direct marketing. The next thing is online marketing. And this term covers a wide variety of methods of moving products or services over the internet. Amazon is a classic one. And the other ones are Takealot. And all of these different online marketing stores, there's a whole lot of them out there. Etsy is another one as well. And there are online retail stores. Other models use Google AdWords, email, and social media as ways to advertise. So this is the newer way. It's a lot quicker too. Some might ask about a sixth type, generally called pyramid sales. We mentioned this earlier and pointed out that pyramids are illegal. One of the main reasons they are illegal is their failure to move a product or to provide a valid service. Pyramid schemes are merely used as a tool to circulate money, otherwise known as money laundering. If a product or service doesn't move, how can you even call it marketing, let alone network marketing? Networking they may be, but marketing they are not. Most objections that people have about getting into network marketing are due to their not realizing the differences between network marketing and the direct sales methods of marketing. This confusion is understandable because most reputable network marketing companies belong to the Direct Selling Association, or DSA, or the Association of Network Marketing Professionals, which is the ANMP. And you have been conditioned perhaps to think of them as door-to-door direct sales programs because your first encounter with them was when a distributor knocked on your door to sell you something. Back in the early days, that's exactly what our business involved, was knocking on doors. And to be quite honest, if it was still like that today, I would not be in this business. I would not have anything to do with it. Even though I love the products, I would not be doing the business because I don't do door to door. Not to mention that these days, trying to get to somebody's front door can be quite a mission on its own. There are some features that differentiate network marketing from retail and direct sales companies. One very significant difference is that in network marketing, you are in business for yourself, but not by yourself. By being in business for yourself, it's likely that you are entitled to some substantial tax breaks, especially if you are operating out of your home. Now, I'm not going to get into that at this stage. That's for a much later story. And you can probably get a lot more information from your accountant or bookkeeper. And we won't get into the tax advantages in this training, because that's another day. Well, most people can get that information from their accountant or from the many books that have been written on the subject. And there is a ton of free information on Google for exactly that as well. Being in business for yourself, you are buying the products wholesale from the company you are representing. This means that you can and should use these items for your own consumption. In other words, you need to be your own best customer. Many people get involved in a company at first for this reason alone, to buy wholesale. That is why I started. I wanted the cleaning products. I was not interested in skincare. I was not interested in nutrition. But I was interested in having non-toxic cleaning products in my house when our kids were small. That is exactly why I got going. And I'm a cheapskate. So I thought, why must I pay somebody else when I can buy directly from the factory? That really is the only reason I began. Now, many of these people will get serious at some stage, like I am. I'm now getting to the stage where I might not need the money as much at the moment, but I know I will be needing to survive on this income in the not too distant future because we're hitting that stage where they call it retirement age. And I've had a couple of people ask me just recently, so when are you retiring? We don't retire in this business. We retread and we keep going. So before I get into this next section, I'm going to stop right here because we've still got about 9 minutes left by the looks of things. So does anybody have any questions at this stage? And I'm going to stop the recording shortly if you don't have questions, and then we can have open mic and chat about this. Do you have any questions or comments?